Good day to our dear listeners. Welcome once again to our Salida TeleRadyo, right here at La Filipina National High School. Today, you will learn another interesting topic in Sonata Allegro form in Music 9, together with your teacher broadcaster, Teacher Rochelle P. LENUEVA. I am your teacher host, Teacher Reggie P. Limsan. Now, I will turn you over to Teacher Rochelle.
Thank you so much, Sir Reggie. Hello, listeners, viewers, especially to our grade 9 learners. Welcome to Salida TeleRadyo. I am your music teacher, Teacher Rochelle P. LENUEVA, and today we will learn about the instrumental form of music in the classical period, specifically the sonata form, otherwise known as the Sonata Allegro form or the first movement form, and how this form helps the composers and the listeners alike in following a musical story. Are you familiar with Haydn? How about Mozart and Beethoven? Yes, these three great composers use sonata form in the first movement of their multi-movement works, like sonata, symphonies, and concertos. So let us be guided by our objectives. Here we go. First, analyze the sonata form. Second, listen perceptively to the sonata form in actual works. And third, apply the form to future listening. Here we go. We're going to start out by playing for you the first movement of Mozart's Eine kleine Nachtmusik, Serenade number 13 for strings in G minor. The title, Eine kleine Nachtmusik, is a German title which means the little serenade. I'm not going to tell you in advance about it. We'll just play it for pure pleasure. Then at the very end or at the later part of the lesson, I will be playing it again for you. And by that time, I hope that you will be hearing it with new ears. So here we go. Let's listen to this. right. So how do you find listening to it? I hope you love it because I do. Now that we've had that pure pleasure of listening to Mozart, let's get to work and find out why that music gives us such pleasure. The thing that interests us most today is about its form. So, what is form? Well, in music, form is the layout or the structure of the composition. So, when we say form, this is actually different from form in art. I think it's hard or for the people to listen to it, medyo mahirap siya because it existed in time. Unlike in art, you can clearly see it instantly, all at once. Pero pag music ng form gani, kailangan i-process mo siya sa mind. So this afternoon, we will try to study about form, specifically sonata form. So paano natin ma-identify ang sonata form? What is a sonata form? Let's begin by defining the word sonata. A sonata originally meant simply a piece of music. It comes from the Latin word sonare, meaning to sound. So, a sonata is anything that is sounded by instrument as opposed to cantata, because cantata is anything that is sung. It came from the Latin word cantare, meaning to sing. So, a sonata in music, meron tayong word na sonata and a sonata allegro form. These are two different things. So when we say sonata, it refers to the multi-movement work of a solo instrument. So when we say multi or movement, it refers to a self-contained part of the musical composition. Parang a longer piece of classical music is broken down into smaller chunks, making it easier to perform or listen to. While when we say sonata allegro form, it refers to the first movement of the multi-movement works such as sonata, concerto, and symphony. So why sonata allegro form? Well, because the tempo of the first movement of the multi-movement work is in allegro. Ano pala yung allegro? So when we say allegro, that is an Italian term which means fast. So it is called sonata allegro form. So a sonata form is a conventional framework that allows composers to tell a story. And because the framework or sequence of event is fairly predictable, it becomes easier for the listeners to follow that story. So how do we identify a sonata allegro form? Think of a sonata form as the musical equivalent to the story arc of a movie or a play. The movie opens, we're introduced to the setting, followed by its main character. Tension rises, and some sort of crisis occurs and reaches its climax. Then the crisis is resolved. So, sonata form the main scenes of the sonata form are exposition, development, recapitulation. So what is exposition? Exposition is a section in a sonata allegro form where the themes are introduced. This is when the composer introduces the themes for the very first time. In other words, the themes are exposed to listeners. So, there are usually two musical ideas called themes in the exposition section. The first theme is called principal theme, and it has a stronger heroic character, while the second theme is slower with a sweeping lyrical, poetic, or romantic emotional character. Think of it in terms of Romeo and Juliet. Are you familiar with Romeo and Juliet? Yes, the very famous Romeo and Juliet written by Shakespeare. Am I right? So, the first theme, think of the first theme. The first theme is the families fighting, diba, sa Romeo and Juliet. Then the second theme is the love between Romeo and Juliet. Musically, each theme is composed in different keys. The tonic, or the home key, and its dominant key, the creator of the tension. So, the tonic key or the home key is the first note in the diatonic scale. It is the most important note because it is where we started and finished, or normally we expect a song to start and finish on. For example, if a piece is in the key of C major, what is our tonic key? That's right. C is our home or tonic key. Paanong C? For example, if the composition is presented in the tonic or in the major C scale, for instance, okay? So in our major C scale, we started with C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So C is our home key. Tonic or home key is the first note of the diatonic scale. It is the most important note because it is where we normally expect a song to start and finish on. For example, if the piece is in the key of C major, what is our tonic key? That's right. C is our home or tonic key. Okay, for the key of C, we started with, the scale is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So our home key is key of C. How about its dominant key? Dominant key is the fifth scale degree of the diatonic scale. Tinatawag siyang dominant because it is next important to the tonic. So again, if the musical piece is presented in the key of C, what is its dominant key? Very good. Key of G. Again, we started with our home key C, D, E, F, G. So G is our fifth tone. That is our dominant key. The first and the second theme are actually connected by the bridge or transition. This is where the modulation happens. What is modulation, by the way? Modulation is the process of changing key. Okay, so the arrangement is like this in the exposition. First theme, presented in the home key. The bridge or the transition where modulation happens. The second theme, a contrasting key which is presented in a dominant key. And a closing material called cadence. Okay, cadence gives us a sense of resolution or finality. And then the exposition section will be repeated again from the very beginning. From first theme, bridge, then the second theme, cadence, and then the exposition section ended. Then we enter into the next section, which is called the development section. In the development section, anything can happen. This is a section in the sonata allegro form where the themes are developed. Yung themes from the expositions are developed by it may be transposed, fragmented, rearranged, combined in new ways, pwede siya i-alter or transformed. The listener may also hear entirely a new material in this section. The other function of the development section is to prepare the listeners for the recapitulation. And once we reach the climax of our development section, we enter into the recapitulation section. So what is recapitulation? So recapitulation is the altered repeat of the exposition. This is exactly the same music as the exposition, but only for one element. The second theme will now stay in the home key. Since we are resolving the story, there is no need to present the theme in a dominant key. That introduces the tension into the storyline. We wanted to stay home and come to a strong resting point, which is our final cadence. A coda may be added. Optional na siya, just like the introduction at the end of the movement in order to give it a clear, memorable finish. And when the recapitulation ends, the sonata form movement is said to end. So, this time, I hope you learned already the three essentials of what they call this, the three essential parts of the sonata allegro form, namely the exposition, development, and the recapitulation. So we have here a song. We will be learning together this sonata song or sonata form song by Jocelyn Quiachon. He is a music professor. This song literally explains the structure of the sonata form and its function. So familiarizing this song will surely help us in our future listening to classical music. So let's listen to this one. And I hope that at your home, you try to listen to classical music.
This is the first theme of the piece sonata form, also called the principal theme. It's in the key of the piece. This is the transition. Its job is to get us to the new key, and when we get there, we feel like we've really arrived. This is the second theme in the new key. It probably contrasts with the first theme. This is the closing of the exposition, just to make the new key really feels like home. Repeat! This is the first theme of the sonata form, also called the principal theme. It's the key of the piece. This is the transition. Its job is to get us to the key, and when we get there, we feel like we've really arrived. This is the second theme in the new key. It probably contrasts with the first theme. This is the closing of the exposition, just to make the new key really feels like home. Then comes the development,
Where anything can happen,
and wander around until we get to the dominant preparation for the recapitulation, which makes us want to hear. This is the first theme, the recapitulation. Yes, after all that, we're back in the key of the piece. This is the transition. Now it's time to stay in the same key, so it's different from how it sounded before. This is the second theme in the first key. We'll stay in the same key till we reach the end. This is the closing of the recapitulation. We made it through, and now the first key feels like home. All that's left is a coda.
Thank you so much, Professor Jocelyn Quiachon, for that very beautiful sonata form song. And I hope you, our dear learners, have already an idea, at least, of what is the structure of the sonata allegro form through that song. So again, our sonata allegro form, there is this exposition, moves from the original key to a new key, merong development that passes through the several keys, and then the recapitulation returns to the original keys. Mura po na siya relasyon, alright? So, if you have relationships, really smooth sailing ang tanan. Sometimes in the exposition part, you have arguments, diba? And then in the development, medyo ma-heightened ang inyong conflict. Daghang mga external factor. But at the end of the day, you manage to settle your differences. So, it's just like that. Okay, so this time, we will be listening again attentively to Mozart's first movement of Eine kleine Nachtmusik of Serenade number 13 in G minor. And I want you to answer the following guide questions. So here are our guide questions. Number 1, how would you describe the second theme in the exposition section? Number 2, what is the dominant key since the home key is in G minor? Third, how are the musical themes from the exposition developed in the development section? And lastly, what happened to theme 1 and theme 2 from the exposition in the recapitulation? So, we shall be hearing once again Eine kleine Nachtmusik of Mozart. Here we go.
এই লেকচারটা ওয়েস্টার্ন ক্লাসিক্যাল মিউজিকের উপরে পার্ট 9 মোজার্টস আইনা ক্লাইনা নাক্ট মিউজিক মুভমেন্ট 1 chamber music for string quartet, 2 violins, viola and cello. Mozart Eine kleine Nachtmusik, Serenade number 13 in G minor, Gershwin 5-5, 1787. Movement 1. Sonata Allegro form. Section A. Exposition. Theme 1. Bridge. Theme 2. Exposition. Repeat. Theme 1. Bridge. Theme 2. Development. Part 1. Part 2. Part 3. Part 4. Recapitulation. Theme 1.
right, so there you have it, the Eine Kleine Nacht music by Bochart. So I hope you are now hearing it with new ears. Are you ready to answer our guide questions or our process questions? Here we go. I will just give you 5 minutes to answer this. Shall we begin? Question number 1. How would you describe the second theme in the exposition section? Your timer starts now. Time is up. So what's the answer? If your answer is any of the following, then you are correct. It's lyrical, pwede emotional, or poetic. Question number 2. What is the dominant key since the home key is in G minor? Your timer starts now. The correct answer is key of D. Key of D because that is 5th in the scale of key of G. That's G, A, B flat, C, D. So the answer is key of D. Third questions. How are the musical themes from the exposition developed in the development section? Your timer starts now. The themes are altered, transposed, recombined, new keys are added. So if your answer is any of the following, then you are correct. Last question. What happened to theme 1 and theme 2 from the exposition in the recapitulation? Your timer starts now. Well, both are presented in the home key. No modulation takes place. Okay, so I hope you were able to get 4 answers correctly. Congratulations, everyone. So this time, I want you to share your thoughts freely on this question. Discuss briefly, what is the relevance of sonata form in today's music? Again, what is the relevance of sonata form in today's music? I want you to write your answer in a short bond paper. You will be rated based on this rubric. For grammar usage, I will be giving you 5 if there is no spelling, punctuation, or grammatical error. 4 if few spelling and punctuation errors or minor grammatical errors. 3 if a number of spelling, punctuation, and grammatical errors. For the quality of writing, 5 if it's very informative and well organized. 4 if it's somewhat informative and organized. And 3 if you give some new information but poorly organized. So again, just put your answer in any clean sheet of paper and have a screenshot and send it to our group messenger or send it to me privately. So for your assignment, I want you to listen to Mozart's first movement of Symphony Number 40 in G minor. I want you to present your analysis in 2 columns. Write the sequence of events in the first column and then record the timing of each event in the second column. I will be providing you a copy of the sheet or this listening exercise template. I will just be sending it sa ato ang GC or during the distribution schedule. Alright? So, I hope you learned something out from our lesson this afternoon about sonata, allegro form. Thank you for listening. Keep safe, everyone!
Wow! That was amazing, Teacher Rochelle. I hope that our listeners learned a lot from the topic that's been discussed. See you again to the next session of our teleradyo. Have a good day, everyone.